Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze is sponsored by Dork Publishing, expanding minds through fantasy since 2018. Learn more at the Dork Publishing website, www.dorcpublishing.com.
I wanna visit all the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food, not the GMOs. I wanna make moves, call the shots like the boss. I wanna love like I never lost.
Thank you for returning to Desertwood Days, and I am your host, Kathy Blaze. I am so excited about our next guest. I'm ready to sit and chat with her. Let's welcome Dr. Kristie Moreland. Hello there.
Hello.
Good to see you.
You too.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. Dr. Kristie Moreland. You know, people think of the term doctor and
Yes.
you know, they think this is the person that's out there doing surgery or giving out
Yes.
prescriptions. You know what, there's so many different types of doctors,
Yes.
but you know, today I want to talk to Kristie.
Yes, that's who I want to
Yes,
share with
I
you
want to
today.
talk to Kristie. I want to know, you know, a lot of people in our community
Yes.
know you, but
Yes.
they know you from your better half.
Yes.
But we want to know Kristie,
Yes.
because I know you have a new journey in your life right now. We're
Yes.
excited to hear about that.
Yes.
But let's talk about how Kristie got started.
Well, I grew up in Los Angeles, California, and I'm a child of a single mom. And I grew up in a little area called Leimert Park.
Oh, okay.
And it's right in between areas that are, you know, a little sketchy. And so it was perfect how she found this little safe spot for us here at Leimert Park. I grew up in a one-bedroom apartment for 19 years with my mom. But, well, then my brother came along, and then my sister came along. But the reason that I like to say that it was that one-bedroom apartment, why the emphasis of that is I thought it was the best thing in the world. I didn't realize how small the apartment was until later, you know. But I also came to understand why we lived in that one-bedroom apartment, because she made it available for us to go to private school. And so she had to work things around in order to make that happen. So, but I always felt like it was the best thing, and life was wonderful in that one. But that was home, there was love, and she was the best mom ever.
Dang, those are the things that was what was when I'm listening to you. That was what was going through my mind, is that you didn't realize it was a small place because of all the love you had in your home.
Exactly.
And you know what? And I say the same thing to people. I didn't realize that we were poor or we didn't have certain things because what we have, we loved it.
Oh, yes.
And the love we had from our family. So that was the reason.
And my mother had me when she was 19. And so she was out to prove that she could, you know, be the best mom ever as well, do the things that were necessary no matter what the situation was, the things that I needed. So most definitely she took care of everything for us. And I, like you said, I felt like I had everything that I needed. And then some.
Of course, of course.
Yes.
So you grew up in
Leimert Park, Leimert.
Okay.
Yes.
So what happened after that? Kristie turns 18 or 19.
Yes, that exactly. Kristie turned 18 or 19. I went and did 1 year of college. And during that year, I was traveling on the train about 45 minutes to an hour to get to school. And it was a different experience for me. And so then I decided, you know, I got to figure something else out. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to see something different. And I still had, I always say, I had to make sure I still had food. I still had, you know, the necessities. And so my uncle had mentioned to me years previous about going to the military. And I was like, me? No. But then that idea, that thought started coming back to me. And so I was like, you know what, that's an idea, that could work. And so I started looking into that. And so I joined the United States Army.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes.
And you are a veteran.
Yes, I am. I served for 6.5 years. I was a medic in the Army. And so that brought about new experiences. And then the Army was fun for me initially. It's funny because people don't think of it in that manner, but I was an athlete growing up my entire life, playing softball and volleyball. So when it came to Army training and physical training, it came easy.
It was easy for
And then
you.
I also grew up in Ruth Torres's home, and my mother was very much a person of order.
So you were prepared.
Exactly. So I knew how to follow instructions.
Right.
She would write notes on Saturday mornings, make sure this list gets done while she's at work, and so
Of course.
I was very. It just came
Especially
natural to me.
Being
A
single
single
mom,
mom.
you need your children
Yes.
to be in order.
Yes, exactly. And so once again, that's what the military was for me. A new set of orders, a new set of
Yes.
instructions. And so I jumped right in, and yes, it was challenging learning new things, but the order and the physicality of it all.
So how old were you when you joined?
19.
19.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your service.
My pleasure. It was definitely my pleasure.
So how long did you serve?
6.5 years.
6.5 years.
Yes.
Okay, so that 6.5 years came up,
Yes.
and what happened after that?
Well, within the 6.5 years is when I met my husband,
Okay.
then boyfriend. And so we met, we married, we met and we married within a year. And half of that year he was
I can see
not,
that with Dr. Will.
half of that year he wasn't even in Germany where we were stationed at the time.
Okay.
He was deployed. And so we got to know each other through letters and phone calls. And so that was wonderful. I didn't know there was a test that he had me on during that period.
Wow.
And I guess I passed the test because when he came home, he proposed.
Aw. I think
Yes.
that's the best way to get to know people.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Mhm. Yes.
Because, when you're around them, you're new, you can put on this facade of who
Exactly.
you are, but you're
Yes.
writing letters, you're getting to know each other
Yes.
long distance.
The test was, he had left a box of like his clothing, because when you're in the military and you're leaving, they put all your things in storage.
Uh-huh.
And when you come back, you got to wait a number of days, depending upon how many people left in order to receive your things back.
Uh-huh.
And so he was like, would you mind if I leave a box here with you? And I was like, sure, put it in the corner of my room. It means nothing to me. I have no need of it. And then I also took his fish and took care of his fish, which I love fish. So that worked out for us as well.
So you were
And then-
babysitting and everything.
Exactly. And then while he was away, he asked me to do some banking things for him because he had left that in the box unbeknownst to me. And so, of course, I had a relationship, a friendship, and he needed some
Right.
help. And so I was willing to do it. And he said a prayer, and he's like, God, if she does things right, then I know this is the one. If she doesn't, watch out.
Right.
Watch out for him after the fact.
Wow.
Yes.
So you got married.
Yes.
And you have children also.
Yes, we have 2 children. Kara is now going to be 20 next month.
Wow.
And then my son Champ is 12.
Oh.
That's his nickname, Champ.
Yeah.
Yes, and Kara is in the Navy now as well.
Oh.
Yes.
Congratulations to Carol. So.
Thank you.
And so you're out of the military. You're a mom. You have your children.
Yes.
So where did that journey take Kristie to then?
Okay, at first, I had Kara when we were in Germany. So I was doing mothering in Germany, working in Germany, being a wife in Germany. And then we transitioned here to Arizona when I was pregnant with Champ. And so because we were new to the state, I decided to stay home with Champ and get to learn our area and take care of the home. And we moved with my godchildren, their family. So we moved with them. They were with us in Germany as well. So we all came together. Everybody had
that's nice.
Yes, everybody had a job to do.
Yeah.
Her husband was still in the military. She wanted to go to beauty school. My husband was starting his business, and I was having a baby. So I took care of my children and my 2 goddaughters, their children. So that was my responsibility in the mission at hand. And so then Champ was about 5 years old, ready for kindergarten, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to get out of the house. And so I started working at his school in the front office. So yeah, then I also added to that being a coach. I was a volleyball coach at a middle school. I was a softball coach at a middle school.
That's where those athletics.
Yeah, exactly. They came back, and then I started coaching boys high school JV volleyball. So at Kara School. So yeah, I started getting out in the community, being, being me
Yes.
and
and using the skills that you had
exactly
to assist in our community.
Yes, and Will likes to call me Awatuki mom because I was like mom to everybody in the area. Yes, so I enjoyed investing time with the different people within our community, at our church as well, the church that we attended, in the women's group, and just doing all kinds of serving.
So you've gone through all that. You've done that. You've been the mom. You're the wife.
Yes.
You're the mom to the community.
Yes.
But there was something else that Kristie needed also.
Exactly, and then that because you mentioned that I was all of those things. Nobody asked any of this of me, but I was very much a people pleaser. And so I always wanted to please my mom, and then I always wanted to please my husband, and then I wanted to please our pastors and please my supervisors and make sure my kids were pleased. And so within doing all that, where's Kristie? What does Kristie want, you know? And so that's when the reason that we're here today for me to share with you specifically was Kristie's Keys.
Dr. Kristie Angela Moreland, a best-selling author. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my. Tell us about Kristie's Keys. What started this?
Well, like I said before, I was a people pleaser and lost myself in that, in all the different responsibilities of motherhood and being a wife and an employee and a sister and a daughter, all those different things. And so I started to focus on me. Okay, what is going to please Kristie? What is it that Kristie is looking for? And as I took the time to have to myself, which you get very little of, I came up with Kristie's Keys. And the reason that came about is because, like how we were talking earlier, I grew up in a single parent home with my mother. And so I was a latchkey kid, right? And the first key that I got was when I was in the 2nd grade. And it used to be pinned to the inside of my uniform skirt, so that I got the don't lose it. It's how important it is, right? And so I would get on the city bus to go home. Our 1-bedroom apartment in 2nd grade. I would get on the city bus to go home. I knew my mom had done all of this with me consistently so that it was natural to me what to do. She used to teach me to pay attention to your surroundings and all these type things.
Isn't that amazing, the things we were able to do at the young age back
I can't imagine. My son has
People
a second
laugh at me because I say when my daughter used to get on the school bus, I would follow the school bus. Making stops. I would follow it till she made it to school.
Yes, exactly. I think the same thing. Like I couldn't imagine my son doing that in 2nd grade. I'm sure he would have been capable, right? But it's just different times, and we had different availabilities, afforded to us. And so I would get home and unfasten that key, and then it was like home, right? Once again, safe, peace, love, relaxation, food, snacks before.
And you know what? Mom had to trust that you were able to do those things because she needed to go out and work.
Exactly.
So she needed to make sure that you were able to do that. So she worked with you and trained you on doing that.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And so then that was my first key. And then as I grew older and had I've always been a believer of God, but then I grew a relationship with Him. So it wasn't about religion and checking off boxes, making sure. I had a relationship with Him, and within that relationship, He reminded me of that key and what that key did for me, right? And so then later, I started adding different experiences, life experiences, and this is the key that I needed. By adding His relationship with me to those situations and the Word of God to those situations opened up some new doors for me. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And like one key that I have, is that you need to be you. Right? And then I came up with an acronym for you, right? Is put yourself first. A lot of times I was failing to put myself first. But we know, just like when we're on the
Right.
airplane, that they tell us that you have to put on your mask
Right,
before you can help
right.
anyone else. But we lose sight of that in the midst of,
Right.
right? And then the O is for order, keeping things
Mm.
organized. I'm very much an organized.
Mm.
I prefer to be an organized person, right? It doesn't always happen. So that's what the O is for. Organize your life,
Uh-huh.
organize what it is that you want in life, right?
Mm.
And then I had to remember the U is unique. I'm different.
Right.
I'm me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's so many things that we'll have in common,
Mm.
there's also those things that will make us different because
Right.
I'm created to be who I am.
And that's something we have to remember that because
Yes.
sometimes we're around, say, your mate or your
Yes.
children,
Yes.
that we forget, we dim our light
Yes.
to let them shine.
Yes. Most
And I
definitely.
mean, we can all shine together.
Exactly.
We can all be unique and shine together. But
Exactly.
as a mother,
Yes.
we tend to dim our lights.
Oh yes, oh yes. As a
Right.
wife,
And-
especially when your husband is out there, you know, and you're proud of him, and you just want to
Right.
make sure that he has what he needs. And I'm taking
Right.
that my responsibility was the family.
Right.
And so then, as they're getting older
Mm.
and I have more time, you know, I start to say,
Yes.
okay, what is it that I want? What is it
Right.
that I see? And then an example of that is in the book. It talks about, you know, vision and things of that nature. And the example that was brought back to my remembrance was, as a little girl, sometimes we rode public transportation
Mhm.
everywhere, and we were standing at the bus stop, and my mom asked me, Kristie, what number bus is coming? Because we saw the bus coming, but we didn't know which bus, if it was the one we needed, right? And so I looked, and I easily told her it's the 40, you know. And then I was like, why couldn't you see that? And she was like, because I can't. She was like, and then I told her, give me your glasses. I want to see why you can't see. And so I thought if I put on her glasses, I would be able to see how she saw the numbers, right? But that didn't work. When I put on her glasses, it was just as blurry and more difficult to see.
Right.
And so that's what the key that was brought back to my remembrance was, through that example, that experience, is when you put on somebody else's glasses or when you look through someone else's eyes, it's going to be something totally different. What do you see for yourself?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And that's
so. How many keys is there for in Kristie's keys?
within Kristie's keys. There's 31.
31.
Yes.
And are those prioritized in a certain order or of importance, or
Pretty much in an order that will help someone walk it out in life for myself. Because I always share with people that's why they're called Kristie's keys, because it's my keychain, and I was adding the keys to my keychain, things that would help open doors for me. And because I'm a person of order, I tried to put it in the order of things that were how they were going on for me in my life. But another thing that I always share with people is, what is the reason for me to get the book then if they're your keys? You know what I'm saying? But you can take my keys, you can take them to the locksmith, meaning in your own quiet time,
change them. Yeah, change the
and
locks.
then fine tune it for what it is that you need to complete your life, things that you can focus on in your life, to get a vision for your life. Hopefully my key can help you, guide you, and get it right, shine it up.
I love that. So these keys, I'm focused on the keys.
Yes.
So is there one key or two keys that's so important that you would say, these keys are the nucleus of my life? I have to depend on these keys.
Yes. Well, all of the keys for me are that way, and I remind myself of them as certain situations come up in life. But another key that I'll share with you is the legacy key, right? Because of the fact that, you know, my grandmother passed away, which I shared with you that Angela is my grandmother's name, and I was given her name. And at her funeral, I was asked to speak, and I did. And once again, something else was brought to my remembrance with that whole process. Was my grandmother came from Nicaragua, right? And I always thought that it was my grandfather who came first to the States. But until her death is when I learned these things, that she was the one who came first. And so she started the legacy of bringing us to America, right?
Oh.
And then for me to hear that my grandmother did that, right? She
Wow.
left her country not knowing any
Yes.
English whatsoever,
Mm.
coming, getting a job and setting up camp, and then sending for her husband and the children. And then my mother, I always equated to, once again, that athlete in me, a race, like when you're running a marathon or a track race, a relay race. And then you have that baton in your hand. So my grandmother handed that baton off to my mom, right? And so she did what she did, her part in the race. And then my mom hands the baton now to me, right? And then I have to hand that baton to my daughter, my children, right? And so it's about us running our leg of the race, running our leg, but not knowing that it did come from, right? But this is your time, and focusing once again on you and what is it, your part in that, right? And so, yeah, legacy is
and
a
it's
very
going to be
important.
at different times for each of us.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not going to be, look, it may be before I have children or before I get married. It's going to be at different times. Not to look at Kristie's keys and say, this is when it's supposed to happen.
Exactly.
That's why going to that locksmith is going to help you.
Yes, you're getting it.
Yes,
Exactly.
That is beautiful.
Yes.
So, when does your book come out? Is it out already?
No, we're pre-ordering right now, and so it's at the printer, and we're going to make sure everybody has it by Christmas.
Okay.
Right? So, yeah, we're working on that part now of getting it printed and getting them out to you.
Okay, so where can our audience find you?
All social media outlets, well, not all. Facebook, Instagram. On Facebook, I'm Dr. Kristie. And then on Instagram, I'm Kristie Angela Moreland, Kristie_Angela_Moreland. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us today. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate having.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us here today on Desertwood Days, and we'll catch you next time.